Hey, Donald Miller. So it's April 2nd, and I'm going to do a reply video about someone asked, Donald Miller's Electrical Services. So someone asking about injuries or my injuries, okay, throughout the years. And I'll go over them. And I'm going to tell you this 80% of every injury I've had, I did. Now, I'm not stating that there wasn't outside factors, but if you're entering into a laborious trade, it's your job to be aware of the job site you're on, okay? Yes, I'm not stating employers can put you in danger and that's okay, but I am stating that it is you walking into that environment. And you just need to be aware of it, because I'm going to tell you right now, comp doesn't pay. Okay, there's no magical mystery ride that comp is going to put you on an island sipping martinis or margaritas. It's not there. I've never seen comp pay except for major injuries, and that's what it's there for. So if you are on a commercial site or a larger site and something happens and you're disabled for the rest of your life, here's the thing, you can't game that because it's not very lucrative. There's no easy ride. It's a tough road, and most of the time it's the doctors and the procedures that they put you through that make the money on comp. It's not the victim of it. And that's the worst part about this whole thing, is the system is rigged to make money off that injury. Everyone but the person injured. Okay. And, I hope you guys never have an injury to deal with, but I've seen a lot of nasty, I wouldn't say a lot of nastiness, but I would say most small injuries the contractor never benefits from. And you're gonna be filled, there's tons of small injuries in the trade. All right. And that's why, like, if you get a splinter and you go to the hospital, they instantly want you to start a comp claim. And it's not for you. It's for all every doctor is going to whack that comp claim, okay, and try to get paid from it, okay? It's a money game. So it's to your due diligence as a contractor, if you're going to become a tradesman, to take care of yourself, rehab yourself. Like, if you need to go to rehab or whatever, go, but you need to rely on you, because the industry isn't there to make sure you're okay. The industry is there to utilize every single doctor's visit they can out of you. And that's what I'm witnessing today. It wasn't this way all the time. Like, I don't think the 80s were this way. This is like it's a new era. And as a tradesman in this era, I think it's up to you to take care of yourself. All right. I've seen people file comp on me, and maybe they thought they were going to get a free ride, but it was explained to me that the doctors are going to make money, and that's about it. Okay, that guy's not going to benefit from it. So my injuries, okay. The first year I was in the trade, and a lot, like my initial entering into the trade, the first 3 years, I had some significant injuries, okay? So the first year in the trade, I was working at 125 unit development with a community center. And I was using a 36-inch auger bit, okay? And this is the old augers that didn't have a clutch. So I was augering through like a 6 stack of 2x4s, and it was above a commercial window, so I had to go straight through. So at the angle I had to drill, I had to be almost directly under the drill, okay? And it was like a 7/8 inch auger with a nail eater on it. So I was drilling and I didn't even know anything happened. I wasn't wearing safety glasses, which I should have been wearing, okay? And I was drilling up, looking up. I thought some wood shavings got into my eye, dusted them off, kept drilling, got the hole done. A metal, I guess I ate a nail when I was in there, and a piece of metal went into the cornea of my eye, and I didn't know it. So the next day when I woke up, both of my eyes closed shut. And when one eye gets closed, the other one closed. So basically, you're blind. And I was like 20 years old, so I was running around my house, flipping out, thinking I'm blind forever. But I ended up going to the doctors, and they put a solution and opened my eyes, and they had a drill into my cornea to get the metal out. Okay, so you basically stare straight ahead. There's a drill bit or like a cordless drill they have, and it's fixed on like an arm, and it's a mechanical arm, so it doesn't move. And they drill into your eye, and they drill into the cornea of your eye to remove the metal. So I had that done. Within about a year and a half of that, I was wearing the wrong foot protection outside of work. Okay, so it wasn't just, I was wearing these no-tie Merrells, all right, and I was jogging with them, and I ended up doing a knee injury on both knees, okay? But I was putting my work boots on and going to work, and my knees were kicking out, okay? And I was on a job site, and they started kicking out in the morning. Within like that week, that Friday, I was on the driveway of that job site, not able to walk. Went to the emergency room, had my lateral meniscus opened up and shaved. So there was, my lateral meniscus was getting torn and going underneath my kneecap, and I wasn't able. So that put me out of work for like 2 weeks. Okay, my employer stopped at my house, and he knew comp wasn't gonna pay. Okay, so he stopped at my house and gave me a week's pay cash, and he's just like, you know, what else you want me to do? So I recovered from that injury, went back to work. I didn't file comp or anything like that. The next injury was 2 years later. All right, so now I'm about, 4 years into the trade, and I had hooks on my extension ladder. And what I was doing was I was climbing up cable lines that are attached to the pole. Okay, so I was doing a cable hookup, either a hookup or a disconnect. I was a subcontractor for Comcast for a little bit. And what we would do is we would go up on the pole and disconnect you. And your disconnect route had like 40 to 50 disconnects on it at a time. And you were paid about $8 per disconnect. So you're running, okay? From the moment you get your disconnect route at the Comcast headquarters, you go out on that road and you have a weekend ladder rack in a small pickup, and you fly, and you $8 a disconnect. And if you're any good, you can blow them out. You can get a route of 50 of them. All right. So I was doing disconnects, and I go up on the ladder, and a tree branch, and it happens all the time that there's trees around these things. So I slap my ladder up against the lines, and I'm running up, and there's always tree branches, so it's not like that big of a deal. But I guess this tree branch had enough give in it. It came out from behind my ladder and poked me in the eye. And I mean, like, it went in my eye. It went in the side, like right in here. And that one was bad. That one I couldn't see. I couldn't move for over an hour up on the ladder. Not a single person stopped to help. I had to, now this is like after about an hour being up on the ladder, I had to get down, take the ladder down, put the ladder on my truck. I had Nextel, but no one was really near me. I went down to Will's Eye, and I first went to the emergency room locally. They said that they can't help me, and I can get a bus down to like an ambulance down to Will's Eye. But the ER warned me that the bus ride was going to run around $2,000, and I had insurance and everything, and they're like, it still might charge you because you brought yourself here. So I'm like, okay. I had my buddy drive me down to Will's Eye, and that one, I forget if they drilled in my eye or not, but I think they did. They had to remove the tree debris because there was like tree stuff in my eye. After those, I went like a good amount of time. I think like 5 years without any real injuries. I ended up managing a job up in Reading. I was doing like a coffee shop where I was site manager, as well as I was basically pouring the pad, scheduling the crane to drop off a building. All right. So I go up there and I hire a friend from high school, which I don't know if you should do or not, but we had to put up temporary fence, and I had a finger injury. I chopped half my finger off. We were doing just temp fencing, and we were using metal poles, and we were going to do the orange fence with a sock drainage to prevent runoff. And yeah, all right, so my buddy let go of the pole, and I came down with the sledgehammer, and it caught my finger. I chopped half my finger off. Now the bone was still attached, but it was gnarly all the way down to the bone from the top of my index finger. Like basically this finger isn't, I can't really. So that's actually straight, and my nail isn't straight, and that's because of this guy right here. It goes all the way across the top, all the way down here. But the bone physically wasn't separated. So electrical tape makes a great splint if you do it right. So we just got some paper towels, wrapped it around the injury, poured alcohol on it, obviously, and CVS sells butterfly stitches. It's almost like a boxer's stitch, where if you blow your eyebrow open, you can actually close them with these sticky stitches. We put them on it to pull the muscle back together, and then just electrical tape. And we had to put 100 fence. That happened on the first fence post, and we had to put 100 fence posts in. We got them all done. We got every fence post done. But most of these injuries that I'm talking about, okay, I'm 80% responsible for them, okay? And the more you're aware, there could have been countless more injuries. There was plenty of times that I was put into situations that I knew better, and I was 10 times more careful, and I didn't let myself get injured. Because you are responsible for your own safety, okay? No matter what education you have, your employer is going to put work in front of you, okay? But it's your due diligence that's going to keep you safe. And that's what I talk about. Like when you guys are working with other people, okay, you're relying on that other person as much as that other person is relying on you. So if you have a no snitch mentality on your job, and there's some jackasses on your job, they're going to put you at risk, okay? And you have to be careful with that. Like I see certain job sites, there's a group mentality, okay? And this group mentality puts everyone in danger if they allow jackasses to be part of that group. And I see it all the time. And if you're a member of that group and you have some people and you don't want to snitch, you don't want to go down that road, get out of that group. Like, go somewhere else, because not only will they affect your career, but they can seriously affect your safety. And, it's a shame. I warn people, if you're in the trades, there has to be a certain level of competency that it doesn't matter how friendly you are with the guy. If the guy's not competent, get the hell away from him. Okay? Get away from him, because there's people that will seriously put your life in jeopardy, and you're going to allow it because you're friends with them. Okay? Like, there has to be a competency level that if the guy's not competent, you got to weed him out. Okay? And I was on job sites growing up, and I watched mechanics weed guys out. Like, I watched it to the point where one mechanic would say, "Get the F away from me. I don't want you anywhere near me," because that's how dangerous the guy was. All right? I've watched guys get thrown off of sites the moment they walk in, because, okay, if you lie and you state that you're a mechanic because you want mechanics rate, and a foreman is questioning if you are technically a mechanic. One thing I do, and I've done it before, and I've kicked guys off of jobs within hours of them being hired. I'll watch them work on something live. I'm like, go break that down. And if he doesn't break it down in a safe manner, he's off my site. Because if he can't break it down in front of me in a safe manner, what is he going to do when I'm not looking? Okay, because that's really what happens. And if guys are breaking stuff, if you get lit up, we're talking electrical now, if you get lit up on a neutral because a guy doesn't know how to disconnect a power box, that neutral will kill you. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, it's the hot wire. No, that neutral can be carrying load. Okay, and I don't want to stray off subject. Warehouse lighting. Okay, so warehouse lighting used to be 277 metal halides. Okay, big boys, the high bays. Okay, and what they used to do is they would run a double pole or a 3-phase breaker. So now you have 3 hots, okay, or 2 hots, depending on the system. All right, and then you had your neutral. All right. Well, if you only disconnect the hot from the string that you're on, that neutral's still hot. Okay, and that's what we had 2 guys down in Florida doing this, and they were getting paid per diem, so they're eating steak dinners. And we get on a conference call with them, and they're talking about how they're keeping the other string on so they have light around them, and then they're tapping the other one in, and they're just making sure the neutrals don't come apart when they're splicing. And the mechanic, if a mechanic wants to do that, he knows his own risk. He knows that he's putting himself at risk. But the apprentice doesn't know how dangerous that is. And that's who's really at fault. That's who's really in a shady situation. Because if that mechanic makes a mistake, that apprentice doesn't have a clue what's about to happen to him. All right. So we didn't warn the mechanic. At that point, you're on your own. But that apprentice we did warn, because that's the guy that could possibly, expire. All right. There was a story in the early 2000s of an apprentice and a mechanic down in the city of Philadelphia. And I don't know which one. They were working on a live circuit. They lost the neutral to the circuit, and the neutral fell on a drop ceiling. And the other guy was in the drop ceiling, and he couldn't get out of it. And he died. He passed away from a neutral. Okay? So, neutrals are no joke. All right? If you, I got thrown out of, so it wasn't an injury, but I was working on a string of fluorescent lighting, 277. Okay? And I was about 8 to 9 feet up in a ceiling. And I don't know how this happened, but the fluorescent lights were wired with 2 conductor cloth, like the old knob and tube 2 conductor wrapped with this. It's real thick stuff. Okay. Well, I'm young and I'm adventurous, and they go kill the string halfway down. So I go up there, I get my razor blade, and I cut down the middle, break the jacket open, and I see the two conductors there. I'm like, well, if I just cut the hot, I'm good. Okay. The problem is with the two conductor and it being like a dirty old building. Okay. I went and cut the neutral, and I got in the way of it. I got lit up. I couldn't let go. Okay. When you get lit up and you can't let go, like, you're being electrocuted. The only thing I could do was I could kick the ladder out from underneath of me. And luckily, the weight of my body allowed me to fall out of the ceiling. I fell on a pile of 2x4s where, luckily again, thank you, Joe H., that all the 2x4s, the nails were down. So when I fell on, and the 2x4s were laid horizontally as well. Like, this guy really, he laid them perfectly right next to my ladder, and I was right next to him. So when I fell, I just fell on the stack of 2x4s, but it broke my fall. No injuries. Scared the bejesuses out of me. Okay, but again, it was my fault. Okay, it was late at night. I went up there, okay, and I should have known better. I should have got a flashlight. I should have taken my time. I thought I was quick, and yeah, it bit me. So again, your injuries, as long as you're self-aware and you're aware of your surroundings, you're aware of who you're working with, and you don't take the trade as a joke. Like, you're there as a professional tradesman. Doesn't matter if you're a helper. Doesn't be proud that you're a helper and be the best helper you can be. Don't go to work thinking it's a party. Okay? Be aware of your surroundings. It will reduce your risk of injury tenfold. All right? I went long. It's like 20 minutes in. I can talk about injury prevention all day long, man, because you're in a laborious field. Every single day you could get injured. So the more aware you are, the safer you're going to be. All right? God bless. Enjoy yourselves out there.